We are quickly approaching a tipping point of mass electric vehicle adoption, and according to one study, electric vehicles will represent over 2/3 of passenger vehicle sales by 2040. But there are still people trying to defend the internal combustion engine with hopes of keeping it alive. This video will show you exactly how an electric motor and battery are far superior to the gasoline engine when it comes to vehicles. Now, I won't deny that the internal combustion engine has served us very well for over 100 years, but like Bob Dylan said, times, they are a-changin', and now in the 2020s, electric vehicles are more popular, affordable, and attractive than ever before. And it has a lot to do with how the most expensive part of an EV, the battery, has evolved. Ironically, the EV battery is one of the biggest points of debate from skeptics. They either claim a battery costs too much or won't last very long. Let's debunk this. Thanks to recent advancements of battery technology, batteries are not only a fraction of the cost they used to be, but they are also smaller and lighter. Lithium-ion battery pack prices, which were above $1,200 per kilowatt hour in 2010, have fallen 89% to $132 per kilowatt hour in 2021. Now, this is also a 6% drop from what it was just a year ago. Prices usually fall by an average of 19% for every doubling of capacity. Even more promising is that this rate of reduction does not yet appear to be slowing down. A recent report found that some batteries have already fallen in a price to around $100 per kilowatt hour. That's the cost that some analysts expect the market to reach broadly by 2023 or 2024. And you may have seen a recent video that showed a frustrated Tesla owner blowing up his 2013 Model S with dynamite because Tesla quoted him $22,000 for an out-of-warranty battery pack replacement. Obviously, that is a very expensive repair bill, but that's not an accurate depiction of reality for most EV owners, especially with newer electric vehicles, since that one that was blown to bits was nearly 10 years old. An EV battery is actually a proven technology, and under current estimates, most EV batteries should last somewhere between 10 to 20 years before they need to be replaced. In fact, EV manufacturers guarantee most of this with warranties. My long-range Tesla Model 3 has a battery and drive unit warranty of 8 years or 120,000 miles, whichever comes first, with a minimum 70% retention of battery capacity over the warranty period. Now, this might sound surprising to you if you've ever experienced your smartphone taking a battery life hit after just a couple of years, but phone batteries are not the same as car batteries. Your phone might be fully charged and discharged hundreds of times, and each of these charge cycles counts against the life of the battery, and after hundreds of full cycles, a lithium-ion phone battery begins to lose a significant part of the capacity compared to when it was new. And that's not ideal for a car designed to last hundreds of thousands of miles, so EV manufacturers go to great lengths to make EV batteries last longer. Electric car batteries are buffered, meaning drivers cannot use the full amount of power that they store, reducing the number of cycles that the battery goes through. Together with other techniques such as cooling systems and a recommended daily charging limit of up to 90%, this means electric car batteries should last many years. And in order to preserve the life of an EV battery, manufacturers ensure that there is additional spare capacity to compensate for degradation over time. So as an electric vehicle ages and the battery cycles, the additional spare capacity is used up. This allows the range of the vehicle to stay very close to the same throughout the life of the battery. Batteries are designed not to die fully, but slowly lose charging capacity over time. This depletion happens gradually, with many reporting a very small loss of just a few percentage points over several years. Take me, for example. My 2018 Tesla Model 3 is almost 4 years old, and it still has a rated range of 301 miles, which is only 9 miles less than when I got it brand new. That's only a 2.9% total range loss after driving 100,000 miles, which is awesome. Now, I fully expect my Tesla battery to stay viable for at least another 6 years, which will meet my goal of 10 years of ownership of the car. Now, based on the battery and drive unit warranties that come with EVs, along with the technological advancements, an EV battery will most likely never need to be replaced during the ownership of the car. And given the steady decline of lithium-ion battery costs, even if a battery replacement is needed in the future after the warranty expires, the price should be much cheaper than it is today. Now, before we talk about the benefits of an EV motor, it helps to know more about how it works. Brillant is a website and app that has over 60 courses to help you become smarter in a wide variety of topics in the math and science fields, and it's my go-to resource for learning more about specific technology. As much as I love my electric car, I take for granted how an electric motor actually works. So that's where Brilliant's interactive learning experiences help me develop intuition for tough concepts like this. I just finished the electricity and magnetism course where I learned more about the physical laws of electricity and magnetism that devices such as a computer, phone, and even an electric vehicle use to perform their design functions. The course demos showcase the principles of electricity and magnetism in action, which allowed me to learn at my own pace in a fun way. If you want to do the same, go to brilliant.org/AndySlide to sign up for free. And also, the first 200 people will get 20% off their annual premium membership. Now let's talk about how electric vehicle motors have gas engines beat in just about every way. First, EVs are more efficient. Simple as that. Internal combustion engine vehicles generally run at about 20% efficiency, meaning that 80% of the energy content of their fuel is wasted, compared to EVs, which put about 80% of their input energy into turning the wheels. An easy way to understand this is to think of it like this. A combustion engine creates heat with a side effect of motion, while electric motors create motion with a side effect of heat. A fossil fuel engine produces motion with tiny controlled explosions, and those explosions push interlocking pieces of metal which connect to a drive shaft, and all that metal rubbing together generates a lot of heat, even when the parts are swimming in oil. Now that's energy that's not being used to push a vehicle forward. When comparing that with an electric motor, the difference is huge. In an EV, there's zero contact between the motor and the drive shaft, just an air gap, and the only thing reacting is a magnetic field. With the drive shaft pushed magnetically instead of mechanically, even a running electric motor can be barely warm to the touch, eliminating a major energy waste. However, the heat in an EV motor is variable and can be significant enough to rate limit the car during aggressive driving. Now, while electric motors are vastly more efficient than gas engines, they do not magically generate motion with magnetic fields. They push electrons through stator wires, which generates heat and creates a magnetic field. Then they rotate those magnetic fields around the rotor, which via induction pushes electrons through the rotor wires, and this generates more heat while creating another magnetic field. And the force difference between the stator and rotor magnetic fields turns the rotor and thus the wheels. So the EV motor creates heat while creating motion, just like a gas engine generates heat when creating motion, but with different means and with vastly improved efficiencies. Now that efficiency does have a small downside in the cold though. The wasted heat from a gas engine becomes free cabin heat in the winter, while electric vehicles have to produce extra heat as needed. Next, electric motors are more powerful for the times that matter the most, which is during acceleration. While gas engines tend to perform better at very high speeds, most legal speed limits are no more than 75 miles an hour, which gives no advantage to gas cars. Electric vehicles, on the other hand, are able to accelerate much more quickly, which comes in handy for daily driving tasks such as merging or passing, instead of having a useless top speed that will most likely never be used. Now, the quick acceleration is possible because at lower speeds, electric motors deliver more torque than gas engines. And torque is what you need to get a car going, and with more of it, electrics out-accelerate comparable gas engines. Now, the better torque also has another advantage, and that is electric motors are simpler than gasoline engines. With less torque at low speeds, gas engines need help from a transmission to get moving. Electric motors don't really need multi-speed transmissions. Instead, a single-speed transmission regulates the electric motor. However, this part looks and acts nothing like a transmission in a traditional gas car. Electric motors can safely accelerate under a certain RPM load, so there's no fear of stalling one. Not having complex gears and fluids of a transmission leads to better efficiency and agility for an EV. This also makes them easier to service. Electric drivetrains have far fewer subsystems, no transmission, no oil tank, no catalytic converter. That means there's less to break down. And the heart of an electric drivetrain is the motor, which is much smaller and more streamlined than its gas counterpart. Electric vehicles also feed energy back to themselves. Every electric motor is also an electric generator. This makes it very simple to implement regenerative braking, which recaptures forward momentum as battery charging, improving efficiency and range. The really cool part is that this process, just like acceleration, is electrical, not mechanical. Here's how it works. The rotor is always spinning in the same direction, but the electrical field reverses. That sends electrons streaming back into the battery while helping slow the vehicle. This leads to the last big advantage. Electric drivetrains are just smarter. Yes, today's gasoline cars can generate very accurate data compared to years past, but electric vehicles allow for more and better opportunities to monitor and adjust them. Control systems are much more accurate and probably more transparent as to what's going on. And as software updates become an increasingly regular part of the car ownership, electrics will be that much more flexible. Better metrics also let manufacturers detect faults in vehicles before they become a big problem. Tesla has already proven this by fixing a major recall with an over-the-air software update. All these advantages add up to an electric machine that is the future of vehicles. And I hope you come along for the ride. Are you team electric vehicle or team gas? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more tech videos in the future. My name is Andy, and I'll talk to you in the next one.